For the next round, we're gonna start just like the previous ones with a chain 4. This will always replace our first treble. And then see how these chain spaces form a pattern here. If in the previous row you had a chain 5 here, in this round you're gonna have a chain 6. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On top of these 7 single crochets from the previous row, we have to work another 7 single crochets. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now if you have a chain 6 space before these 7, then you need to have a chain 6 space after these 7 stitches too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll continue with our trebles. Here we are going to work 1 treble into each of the next 3 stitches. We're not increasing and we're not decreasing anything anymore. So 1 and then 2 and then 3. Okay. Now chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the chain 4 space, like this, and then chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and continue with the trebles, so 1 treble per each stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we repeat from the chain 6 space. I'm going to show you one more time. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 single crochets on top of the 7 single crochets from the previous row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now we need to have our chain 6 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then again we work our treble stitches. So 1 treble per each stitch. Okay. 1, and then 2, 3. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the chain 4 space of the previous row, and chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and work your trebles. So 1 treble into the next stitch, another treble into the next stitch, and 1 treble into the next stitch. And keep repeating this process until you get to the end of the round. I got at the end, almost at the end of this round, and I've worked my 2 trebles into these 2 stitches, and now I have to slip stitch into the 4th chain stitch of our first treble. Now round complete. let's take a look at our motif so far. With every round it grows bigger and bigger, and it's going to be hard for me to fit it in the screen. I'm going to move it a little so you can see. So this is okay if it's ruffled, that's fine. Once you wash the whole piece, everything will sit the way it's supposed to. Okay, this is how it looks so far. And we're ready to start with our next round, which starts the same as the previous one. So chain 4, again, replaces our first treble. There's something in my yarn here. All right, so if in the previous round you had a chain 6 space here, then now you need to work a chain 7 space. So let's work that. 7 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. On these 7 single crochets here, you need to work 5 single crochets. That means you're gonna skip the first single crochet and you're gonna skip the last single crochet. So you're gonna work 5 single crochet in the middle 5 stitches of this section. So skip the first one and work 5 single crochets. So that's 2, and then 3, 4, 5. Okay, like this. And then chain 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and work your trebles accordingly as usual. 1 treble per each stitch. Okay, so 1, then 2, and 3. Now for the spaces section, we're gonna work like this. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet into the second chain stitch of your first space. This is a chain 4 space, okay? So skip first and double crochet into the second stitch here. Okay, and now you have to work a picot out of chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2, into the front loop and the front bar of your double crochet. Okay, so I'm gonna call them in the front 2 loops of this double crochet. So you slip stitch there and you have your picot. Now we need a chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double crochet into, if you mirror back, it's gonna be in the same place as the first one, but in crochet terms, or how the rules dictate, we have to skip 2. We skip 2 chains, and in the third chain stitch we work our double crochet. See, if it's mirrored, then these double crochets, they stay absolutely in the same position for both chain 4 spaces. Obviously, if the first double crochet has a picot on top of it, then we need a picot on this one. So chain 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this double crochet, and then if we have a chain 3 here, then we need to make a chain 3 here too. In crochet, everything is mirrored, especially in motifs. All right, and now continue with your treble stitches. 1 treble stitch per each stitch here. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Now this is how it looks so far. we started here, yes? So you can see the pineapple forming and then the lacy space in between those pineapples. Now we have to repeat from the beginning, from the chain 7 space. I'm going to show you just one more time. So chain 7, always look, 5, 6, and then next chain is going to be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, 5 single crochets on top of this 7. That means we skip the first stitch and we start in the second. And we work 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are not gonna bother about the last one because that needs to be skipped. Now chain 7, we mirror everything back, okay, for this section. So chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we continue with our trebles. 1 treble in the next in each of the next 3 stitches. That would be the correct way to say. So 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm ready to start with my spaces here, to work with the spaces. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet into the second chain stitch of this chain 4 space. So skip first and double crochet into the second one. Now don't forget your picot out of chain 3. 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops here. Chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double crochet into the third chain because we're counting from right to left. So skip 2 chains and in the third one work your double crochet. Awesome. Don't forget your picot. 1, 2, 3. So chain 3 obviously. Slip stitch into the front 2 loops of your double crochet and chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and continue with the trebles here. So 1 treble per each stitch. It's very easy. Just look at your motif and notice the pattern forming here. And it's just repeats and mirroring, okay? Nothing complicated. And that's how it looks so far. All right. Continue around in the same way I showed you, and I will meet you in the beginning here where we're gonna slip stitch as usual to end the row. All right, I'm at the end of this round and I'm gonna do exactly what I just said. I'm gonna slip stitch into the 4th chain of our first treble to complete this round. I'm gonna try to arrange my motif again every time I do that, after every row or round. It just gives me a sense of achievement for every round that I complete, and this way I can take a look at my motif and see how it looks. See? Pretty wonderful. Ready with the next round? Okay, we start the same way as the previous ones. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, again to replace 1 treble here. So if in the previous row you had chain 7, in this round you're gonna have chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the 5 single crochets here, you need to work 3 single crochets. Like in the previous row, you're gonna skip the first stitch and you're gonna skip the last stitch. So you're gonna work the 3 single crochets in the middle stitches of this section. So skip first one and work 3 single crochets here. 1, 2, 3. Now mirror back. If you have a chain 8 here, you need to have a chain 8 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm ready to start with the trebles, which is the same. 1 treble per each of these stitches. So 1, 2, 3. All right, for this spacey section, we need to work as follows. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in the middle chain stitch of this chain 3 space. Okay, so you skip the first one and double crochet into the second chain stitch of this space, and then we need a picot on top of this double crochet. So chain 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this double crochet, and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here into this chain 7 space, we're gonna have to work skip 2 chain stitches, and in the third one work a single crochet. Okay, and then work a picot, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this single crochet, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 1 chain stitch of this chain 7 space and work in the next chain stitch 1 single crochet. Now you need to mirror back everything you did so far. So picot, 1, 2, 3. Complete the picot with a slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this single crochet. Okay, and then you have a chain 5, which you need to work on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After this, you're working a double crochet into the middle chain stitch of the chain 3 space of the previous row. Okay, so skip the first chain 1 and double crochet into the second. Okay, this one also needs a picot, just like here. So 1, 2, 3. It seems hard to keep up, but if you don't rush and you take your time, everything will be fine. And the last chain 3 space here, 1, 2, 3, and you're ready with your trebles that are worked the same like in the previous rounds. 1 treble per each of these 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now let's see what we have here. So for the pineapple thing, we have a chain 8, 3 single crochets, chain 8, and then we have the 3 trebles, and then chain 3 space, double crochet with a picot, and then chain 5 into the middle of this chain 7 space of the previous row. You have to work this section, a single crochet, the single crochet, the picot, the chain 4, again single crochet, the picot, chain 5, double crochet, picot, and chain 3, and then you go back to finishing this section with 3 trebles. I place the stitches in the chain stitches because I don't want these to move whenever. So if when I wash it, I'm gonna know that my stitches will stay put in their places. That's the only reason why I chose to make the stitches inside the stitches of the previous row. Usually I don't do that, but for this project it's important. I don't want them, after you wash, you know, you don't want this stitch to be here or here. I want it in the center. And one more tip, if you're watching the videos from the mobile phones, you can always zoom in like this so you can see the stitches better when I work. All right, if this way it's a little bit confusing or you cannot see very well, so you can always zoom it in and see exactly what stitches I'm working on. So I'm going to show you this step one more time, and then you'll be able to do it on your own. Again, so this section we need a chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the single crochets, we're gonna work only 3 single crochets here, so skip the first one, skip this one, and then 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. Chain another 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Trebles, 1 treble per each of these stitches, of these 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Now the spaces here, it's a little bit more intricate. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Double crochet into the middle chain stitch of this chain 3 space, okay? Picot out of chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this double crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the chain 7 space of previous row. We need to center these stitches, so skip the first 2 chain stitches. Into the third one, work a single crochet. Okay, picot, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip the next chain stitch of the chain 7 space of the previous row. In the next chain stitch, work a single crochet. Picot, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this single crochet, see? And then chain 5, grabbing my yarn in the meantime. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now double crochet into the middle chain stitch of the chain 3 space of the previous row, okay? So double crochet into this stitch. Don't forget about your picot. 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the front 2 loops of this double crochet, and the last chain 3 space of this section. So chain 3, and then work your trebles. So 1 treble into each of the next 3 stitches, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. And then you just have to repeat around until you get to the end of this round. Okay, nothing complicated, just a little bit of focus here. So I reached the end of this round, and as usual I'm gonna slip stitch into the 4th chain stitch of our first treble. Round complete.